to the papers now, see what the headlines are this morning. And I have with me two journalists who are joining me to do justice to what we have here. Cyril Abaku is here, as well as Charles Ideho as well. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Yes, that's right.
Let's begin with the blueprint. Blueprint is where we start from this morning. 2 weeks after mass or National Assembly invasion, Shiites attack Abuja, DCP killed. Channels reporter, 2 police officers on danger list. Enema equipment set ablaze. We lost 11 members, IMN, and that's Islamic Movement of Nigeria. Restore order now, Buhari directs IGP. You find all that on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. Let's move now to the Nigerian News Direct. News Direct is where we go next now. Shiites protest, DCP Umar journalist, 10 others feared dead. We lost 11 members. IMN says that, and 54 suspects arrested. Put stop to Shiite excesses. Put stop to Shiite excesses. Buhari orders the IG of police. Daily Trust is where we go next now. DCP core member, others killed as police Shiites clash. You find that on the front page of the Daily Trust. Okay, let's move now to the Daily Sun and see how bright this side is. As DCP, others killed in Shiites protest. Sad, tragic. Sad, tragic. Panic in Abuja. Police arrest 54 suspects. NEMA office burned. And Buhari gives IGP matching orders. You find all that on the front page of the Daily Sun, telling you that the sun is not shining too bright on these issues right now. Moving on now, the Nation is where we go next. DCP, 12 others dead as Shiites protest in Abuja. Protect all Nigerians, Buhari tells IG. A Channels reporter dies in clash. You find out on the front page of the Nation newspaper. The Vanguard is where we go next now. DCP, 7 others killed as Shiites protest turns bloody in Abuja. Channels reporter killed, 3 police officers in critical condition. Nobody can stop our protest in Lagos. IMN is saying that. And Buhari summons IGP, orders him to protect Nigerians. Clash forces Lawan to postpone meeting with SANU. You find that on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. The Nigerian Tribune is where we go next now, and that's the last one now. Bloody Shiites police clash rocks Abuja, 10 feared killed. DCP confirmed dead. NEMA building, vehicles set ablaze. Channels TV reporter shot in the stomach, and security chiefs brief Buhari. 54 arrested. Police killed 11 of us, Shiites claim. Okay, you find that on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. Okay, gentlemen, those are the headlines this morning. It's all about the Shiite and police clash in Abuja, and it's really sad. The journalist fell, you know, in that exercise. that's our immediate constituency, and our hearts really go out for all those who were killed, including the Deputy Commissioner of Police and all the members of Nigerian citizens who were killed yesterday. Now, let me start with you, Charles. This Shiite and police clash seem to be lingering, and the way it turns out, it seems there's no other better way of handling this situation.
But there must be a better way. It's just that those who are saddled with the responsibility of handling this issue are not creative enough. First of all, I expected that by now the security agency ought to have infiltrated their ranks. I asked that question when I was on there earlier before now. Say, how was it possible for a coordinated protest at the seat of power within the business the central business district for them to plan a coordinated protest, not where you have 1, 2, 3, but over 3,000 strong men and women moving on, and they planned this thing, and nobody got wind of it, and they executed it to the letter, and nobody got to. I mean, come on! I think it's the height of shame, height of disgrace, even to the security architecture of Nigeria. We are beginning to, every time something happens, nobody gets fired, nobody gets queried. All we hear, oh, don't worry, we are on top of the matter. But how are we on top of it? As we speak now, these people are getting more daring by the day. no, about a fortnight ago, you saw that how the march to the National Assembly.
Yes.
When you look at the National Assembly, it's situated at the 3-arm zone.
3-arm zone.
3-arm zone. But
3-arm zone.
Okay, so they tried it
which is supposed to be the most secure part of Nigeria.
But they went there. So when they saw that, it's as if the invisibility, so to speak, of that place was just on paper. Look at how more daring they have become. So I think right now it is something that is going to explode if we're not careful. The security agency have to now go back again, re-strategize, so make sure what they need to do is to infiltrate their ranks so that when some of these things are being planned, at least issues some of these things can leak, and then they have to be very proactive in making sure they guard against it.
All right, Cyril, the use of live ammunition during protests, it is one thing that has been criticized across the world. One has said that rubber bullets can be used, water cannons can be used, and even tear gas were used. But the use of live ammunition, I wonder how that is justified, even though the protests, hoodlums were said to have taken advantage of it, or the protests went violent, as the case may be, depending on how, what context one is looking at it from.
I mean, if you the resort, first of all, to brute force usually is a pointer to the fact that somebody has come to his wit's end. You can't take that off the table. Secondly is the fact that, like Charles rightly pointed out, security policy makers did not have an exit strategy in this matter. I wonder how you detain a leader of a group and you don't deploy. When I mean deploy, like you rightly pointed out, you deploy covert assets in their ranks. The way Abuja, Abuja is the city of civil servants. If you look at the way Abuja is even structured, that federal secretariat, it's not a clustered city. It's easy to stay in a place and see very,
exactly.
So
especially if you are on any of the.
So if this what we have done, we're looking at the cost in terms of the DCP, in terms of the journalists, in terms of people that were killed. The numbers are staggering here and there. But when you strike at the heart of civil servants in Abuja, you have more. In fact, and the civil service is the span of the economy. You have crippled public faith in public system. People won't be able. You may go and check today. Now people won't go to work because there's this fear. If civil servants are afraid to operate in Abuja, then you have crippled the system. What you need to look at is the fact that, for me, it even looks as if we are playing into the hands of the Shiites. Let me give an example. When you detained their leader since 2015 and they didn't act, you don't even know why they waited. They're no longer a Rakta group. Somebody somewhere, maybe even outside of Nigeria, is strategically thinking for them, is sizing up how, because everywhere we have behaved, including someone in the IGP and ordering him to, is the normal thing. There is nothing we have done in the past 2 weeks or 3 weeks that looks to be like a strategic intervention to restructure our approach to the Shiites issue. We've had to deal with Boko Haram for a very long time. Now Shiites coming up again, and they are strategic. Why are they not doing this in Kaduna? They came to Abuja, they sit up, and what they have done shows that they can enter anywhere and do anything they like. So I think
they even protested in Lagos at the time.
Of course, but it wasn't that effective. But
they protested.
They protested, but it didn't get that kind of acclaim that we have right in Abuja. Like what Siri said, it's like speaking direct in the face of government. That it's like, okay, we're going to take you on one-on-one.
No, but the point there is that when it comes to the right to protest, they are Nigerians. They have the right to protest in the eyes of the law and all of that. Now, the reports we're getting is that there is a plan to proscribe the Islamic movement of Nigeria. When it comes to the issue of caution, what kind of caution should be taken here? Because Governor El-Rufai of Kaduna State was interviewed at the time, and he said that, well, we have studied even what happened in the case of Boko Haram. We know all whatever we're doing, but we are ready to take this headlong.
Ready? But does it seem as anybody ready in what's happening now? Look, when you look at it, we've got a monster in our hands that we need to treat it like a monster. Okay, this is just not an intent. Look, as Siri said, there's a possible external influence in this because this movement is tied to the apron strings of Iran. And they are saying what they are looking for is a replication of the Iranian model of government here in Nigeria. Okay? And they're saying, even, I mean, I said earlier that what they're saying that their leader, who is being held in incarceration as we speak now, is superior to even the government of Nigeria, is superior to even the head of government.
And they don't hide it.
They don't hide it. That even the man who...
In their own eyes.
In their own eyes. That even the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces is inferior. Is inferior in status, inferior in personality to the man being head. So when people operate from that mindset, then you don't treat them with kid gloves. So that's why I said we have a monster in our hands. Except we have admitted that we have a monster. Then whatever strategy we're going to put in place will now be determined by how we look at this monster and how we're going to face the monster headlong. All right.
Sorry, Mike. You see, there's a problem of philosophy or ideology. They don't believe in our secular laws. Okay, they want to impose their own law on the country. Now, our own courts give a judgment. The Nigerian government does not obey the judgment. Our own law guarantees freedom of religion. They don't even recognize your law, first of all. You say you want to use your law to proscribe the movement. You can proscribe a body, but even if you succeed, you can't proscribe an idea. This is where the Nigerian government has failed totally. And you see, look at the US government. Even when they go to war in Afghanistan, in Iraq, and so on, there's a particular, is it a cantonment or a command in the US called Fort Bragg? That is why they do special ops. There's something they call psychological operations. They are shadow warriors. They work on the mind. So in a country where the Shiites are in minority, are you telling me that by the time you see the leaders in 2015, you have not done anything to reach out to see how you can, change the orientation? Because you can prescribe them, but you cannot.
The ideology can't be killed.
Are we even aware? The sources that feed the intelligence. What I see here is the fact that, you see, no matter how the security agencies want to secure the city and so on, it appears that they know when the apparatus is weakest.
Yes, and then they strike.
They take advantage of it.
So they are not a ragtag group. So the war should be fought behind the lines, and not to say you're prescribing them. It doesn't make sense to me.
All right. Well, that's the point there is, however, whether we like it or not, government is still the one that has all the information that other citizens don't have.
But again,
how they make use of it is different.
Yes, that's
but
right.
let's before we leave now, the core member that was killed,
yes,
who is a reporter, who is a journalist, a very brave one at that.
That's right.
Now, I wonder, when you look at, because we remember in the past when things like this happened, where people were calling for the scrapping of NYSC and all of that, and Nigerians were reacting. But I wonder what you make of this situation.
But I think NYSC is serving its own advantages.
Serving the fatherland.
That's right. It's just that it's not being properly done. I think the NYSC will also look at it and see how they can make it even more effective. But let me say that for me, I think I'll blame Charles for sending that young man over there. No. There are certain. Look, we're journalists. In most cases, we have been sent to cover certain. But that what happens today is for a more experienced journalist to go cover. Because if it's somebody who has covered that over and over again, he knows exactly what to do. But this could be a young man who is just out of school and then he's sent to that. He may not know exactly when to dodge the bullets and what to do. So
the point there is that all the details have not been made available.
Fully, yeah.
Yes.
Because the point there is, if you have an intern or you have a youth corps member, the way you learn is by following others. So the point there is, it is not clear
until we get it.
It is not clear to us totally whether he was the one in charge of reporting that, or he went to observe, as the case may be. But it was a case of a stray bullet and all of that.
But he was at the scene. Okay, for an assignment.
Yes, exactly. So that's what we're saying. That's why I liken it to even interns. If you have interns, certainly, interns will go with all the others going out and all of that.
That's okay.
Right. So moving forward, what scenarios do you see playing out? Siri, let me start with you.
Look, the federal government has to re-strategize. This is not, and the way it is looking now, it is clearly a case of the hand of the voice of Jacob and the hand of Esau. Okay? And so the Nigerian government has to think out of the box. How do we reach out to these people? Because if they are so certain that they can contain this movement by force of arms, I'm not in government, all well and good, but I think that they need to reach out to them and see. Elder Zaki wants to go to India for treatment. That is where I think we need to start from. they should allow the courts to allow him go to India and use that as a bargaining chip, that when we let you go, you hold your dogs back. I think that sort of thing, you know, some sort of détente or rapprochement. Otherwise, you're not going to... Look, for me, speaking morally, I think that between 2015 and now is even enough time. We have overstretched our patience, quite frankly speaking. You don't met out violence and expect peace. It does not work anywhere. So you have to let him go to India and then use that as bargaining chip. That is even the beginning.
But when they talk about the issue of security, in fact, government is holding him on the claim of national interest and national security interest.
National interest cannot override the rule of law. We must also look at that. What I think governments should do is that, first of all, not in fear of what they're doing.
Yeah, but in this case, if it has to do with the issue of health, yes, and all of that, don't we have the hospitals or the doctors that can even attend to him?
No. What I'm advocating is that, first of all, I think government has to show example. Release him in obedience to the court order.
Yes.
Then you can place him on house arrest. First. Because the court order does not say you can't be placed on house arrest. It said release him from incarceration, but not that you cannot place him on house arrest. So government needs to look for a way to balance. It's a delicate balancing to be able to say, okay, release him in obedience to the court order, then place him on house arrest. While you are doing that, then you cannot deploy your security architecture to begin to infiltrate and then cripple their power base. I mean that's the way it should be done. They know how to do. They know what to do.
Above all, his health is number one, and a lot of people are likening the situation of Muhammad Yusuf in
Borno at that time.
In Borno State, in the case of Boko
1997,
Haram.
yeah.
No one prays for anything, untoward. But if anything happens to him under this circumstance where he's being held right now, what scenarios do you think?
Mike, it won't get worse. You know why? Because we've already reached the threshold.
Okay.
And so from this point, anything that happens, I mean, it's like we've seen it all. Attacking buildings, certain disabilities. That's why I say, while he's alive, is the right time. While we have him
to take the right steps.
Yes,
right.
You can let him go to India, like I said, and it should be tripartite. Get the movement, get the government, and get whoever is supposed to be playing that shadow, that godfather role to the group, and sit down and talk informally. Sit down and talk and say, okay, so we're giving this, you give us, and so on.
Okay.
And have a moratorium.
So it boils down back to the issue of dialogue, eh?
Dialogue, the intelligence gathering, and then be creative in how to also settle the matter. There are certain things you have to bend over backwards.
Of course. All right. Let's leave it here now. Charles Ideho, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Cyril Abaku, thank you very much. Right. Let's head into the papers now, see what the headlines are this morning. And I have two journalists, Charles Ideho as well as Cyril Abaku. Gentlemen, good morning.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. Right. Let's begin with Blueprint newspaper this morning. That's where we start from. 2 weeks after National Assembly invasion, Shiites attack Abuja, DCP killed. And Channels reporter, 2 police officers on danger list. NEMA equipment set ablaze. We lost 11 members. IMN saying that. And restore order now, Buhari directs IGP. You find that on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. Now, let's get to the Nigerian News Direct. That's where we go next. Now, Shiites protest. DCP Umar, a journalist, 10 others feared dead. We lost 11 members. IMN is saying that that's the Islamic Movement of Nigeria. And 54 suspects arrested. 2 ambulances. NEMA is saying that. And put a stop to Shiite excesses. Buhari orders the IGP as the Inspector General of Police. Okay, from there, let's go to the Daily Trust now. DCP core member, others killed as police Shiites clash. That's what you see on the front page of the Daily Trust. From there, let's go to the Daily Sun now, where the sun is not shining too bright. As DCP, others killed in Shiites protest. Sad, tragic. And panic in Abuja. Police arrest 54 suspects. NEMA office burned. Buhari gives IGP marching orders. You find that on the front page of the Daily Sun. The Nation is where we go next now. DCP, 12 others dead as Shiite protest in Abuja. Protect all Nigerians, Buhari tells IGP. And Channels reporter dies in clash. Really sad. From The Nation, let's go now to the Vanguard. DCP, 7 others killed as Shiites protest turns bloody in Abuja. And Channels reporter killed 3 police officers in critical condition. And nobody can stop our protest in Lagos. IMN is saying that, and Buhari summons IGP, orders him to protect Nigerians. And clash forces Lawan to postpone meeting with Sanu. You find all that on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Nigeria Tribune is next now. Bloody Shiites police clash rocks Abuja and 10 feared dead or 10 feared killed. A DCP confirmed dead. A Nema building vehicle set ablaze. Channels TV reporter shot in the stomach. And security chiefs brief Buhari. 54 arrested. The police killed 11 of us. Shiites claim. Okay. You find all that on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. Gentlemen, when it comes to the right to protest, the Constitution guarantees every single Nigerian the right to protest. But when it gets to a level where public property is being destroyed and then it becomes a platform where hoodlums or any other person for that matter takes advantage of it, then it can turn to anything else or snowball or metamorphose into what anybody cannot describe. But let us talk about the issue of the destruction of public property as a way of sending signals to the government and all of that. Cyril, the last time there was the invasion of the National Assembly, we had one of the spokesperson for Shiites movement said that, well, their members were not the ones who destroyed vehicles, even though the videos went viral, but they said they were not their members, that sometimes even the police will go in mufti and join them to destroy property as a way of painting them bad.
Well, what I would say is that the Nigerian government cannot be on the back foot when it comes to I don't like to call it that, but when it comes to the propaganda side of things, the government can be on the back foot. Unfortunately, we're not seeing them taking the initiative as they should. I can't believe that it was the police that changed and won mufti to vandalize state property. What do they stand to gain? What sort of operation is that? If that were the case, it would have been, so to say, a sting operation. But that's not even what it is in reality. What I rather see is that we have not even called what we are seeing what it is. Okay. Which is to say that this is a national security emergency. That, for instance, so I'm a foreign investor, and I'm watching Nigerian television, or even the international media, and I'm seeing that there is fire in the national capital of Abuja. People are running helter-skelter. People are being mauled down by bullets. Cars are set ablaze. Emergency services. You see, and this is strategic. The emergency services that are supposed to help to curtail the fallout of the
protests.
Yes, of the violence and of the protests. They've neutralized 2 ambulances. Clearly, we are not even calling it what it is. And until you identify the problem and call it the name that it is, you will not be able to address it. It's a psychological thing, but it's also logical and very basic. And so, we are failing in the most basic thing, which is to come to terms with what we have on our hands. Okay.
Well, Charles, when it comes to capacity, no one has the doubt that Nigeria does not have the capacity to do all of these things. Nigeria has more than what it takes to handle all of these when it comes to attracting the best hands, attracting the best equipment, attracting the best atmosphere, whatever it is, or even the best collaboration. But we don't see that play out when it comes to the results that we expect to see. That even common man on the street can say, well, from what we see in other countries, Nigeria is far, far, far better than what we see here when it comes to the approaches.
It's quite sad. That's a quite sad situation that we're in. Even when during the 70s, because we all read history. I mean, history in school, and so we were taught of the exploits of the men of yore, Awolowo, Ezekiel, in their rudimentary level of understanding. Yes. As at that time, when compared to the high tech that we have today. I mean, we are on the high tech level, but we are far, far less in terms of intellectual capacity than what they had over time over there. But you see, let me also come to the capacity of the police to handle this issue. I think what the police is doing is quite wrong. No matter how the level of provocation, no police in the world is allowed to use live ammunition. Because what I see these days is that the men of the police and all of that, they tend to want to please the masters, their principals up there to be seen as if they are working. Okay, there was protest. What did you do? So there's this issue of maybe they are being too overwhelmed with emotions. Let us see us.
And they become high-handed?
They did not become high-handed.
Or maybe with the killing of the DCP, you know,
how did it
escalated or aggravated the issues.
DCP killing? There must have been a slip somewhere in between when this confrontation. I don't think the DCP's killing was, just happened in the very first minute of the protest. Do you understand? So I think we need to go back and really retrain the police on how to actually interface with people when they are protesting, so it doesn't degenerate into where lives will now be lost, both on the side of the protesters and on the side of the security agencies.
All right, Cyril, I wonder how this compounds the rating of, or the perception of Nigeria when it comes to human rights. You know, Nigeria has not been faring well, even from back in the days. Nigeria has not necessarily fared well on the human rights measurement or perception index generally. How does this situation compound that issue?
It tells very badly, because if you even look at the whole scenario, quite frankly, you know, ab initio, the root cause of this problem, the name of the protest itself is Free El Zakzaky. Free him not because we feel you arrested him unlawfully. Free him not because we feel
he's innocent or whatever.
But free him because your own law says he should be free. You refuse to free him. Your own law said pay him damages for infringing on his right. You refuse to pay. And so, legally speaking, these people even have the right to demand, you know, because, it's always the Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King. When,
Malcolm X,
yes, when the state refuses to give what belongs to you, so to say, you know, you assert yourself. I do not in any way espouse violence. Don't get me wrong, but there is a way to assert your right and say this belongs to me, and I have to.
So you seem the government is playing into their hands.
I said this earlier, and in a very strategic way. Now let me give an example. Assuming without conceding, Mike, that a Shiite protester shot the DCP. I was not there, so I don't know. We don't really know how it happened, how everything happened, who shot at who, and who fired first, and so on. But the question is that for a deputy commissioner of police, you know, how did the police architecture read the mood of that period, of that day? That you came out, maybe you were unarmed. We don't know what really happened, you know. And then, so somewhere, somebody somehow misread what was going on, which again should be an intelligence failure. So I think, let's go back to the drawing board. All of these movements, the IPOB, the Shiite, they are all too many examples of the multiple centrifugalities that are coming to the Nigerian state.
All right.
There is no Nigerian mind.
It is time to handle all of them.
Yes, exactly.
And unify the country.
There is no Nigerian mind anywhere.
Oh, okay. It's all right. We have to leave you here now. Thank you very much, Charles Idaho, for coming. Thank you, Cyril Abaku. Thank you very much. Right. Let's head into the papers now, see what the headlines are. But I have with me in the studio Charles Idaho as well as Cyril Abaku, both journalists, and we're doing justice to this. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you. Right, let's start with Blueprint. That's where we'll start from this morning. 2 weeks after National Assembly invasion, Shiites attack Abuja, DCP killed, and Channels reporter, 2 police officers on danger list, and NEMA equipment set ablaze. We lost 11 members. IMN, that's the Islamic Movement of Nigeria. Restore order now, Buhari directs the IGP. And that's what you see on the front page of the Blueprint. Then we move now to the Nigerian News Direct. Shiites protest, DCP Umar, journalist, 10 others feared dead. And we lost 11 members. IMN is saying that, and 54 suspects arrested, 2 ambulances. NEMA is saying that. And put stop to Shiite excesses. Buhari orders the IGP of police. You find that on the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. Daily Trust is where we go next now. DCP core member, others killed as police Shiites clash. You find out on the front page of the Daily Trust. Now, the Daily Sun is where we go next now, as DCP, others killed in Shiites protest. Sad, tragic, and panic in Abuja. Police arrest 54 suspects. NEMA office burned. Buhari gives IGP marching orders. From the Daily Sun, let's move to the Nation now. To the Nation, DCP, 12 others dead as Shiites protest in Abuja. Protect all Nigerians, Buhari tells IGP. And Channel's reporter dies in clash. You find that on the front page of the Nation. Now, the Vanguard is where we go next. Now, DCP, 7 others killed as Shiites protest turns bloody in Abuja. Channel's reporter killed, 3 police officers in critical condition. And nobody can stop our protest in Lagos. IMN is saying that, and Buhari summons IGP, orders him to protect Nigerians, and clash forces Lawan to postpone meeting with the SANU. Okay. And then Nigeria Tribune is where we go next now, which is the last one. Bloody Shiites police clash rocks Abuja and 10 feared dead or feared killed. A DCP confirmed dead. NEMA building vehicles set ablaze. Channel's reporter shot in the stomach, and security chiefs brief Buhari. 54 arrested. Police killed 11 of us, Shiites claim. Okay, you find that on the front page of the Nigeria Tribune. Well, gentlemen, this is not the first or second or third or fourth time the Shiites are protesting in such a way that it goes a little out of hand, or maybe too much out of hand, because in this case now, lives have been involved, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, up to 10 or over 10. So it's no longer a little out of hand. This is way out of hand. But when it comes to the feeling, because from the feelers we're getting, people in within Abuja who work in either the Federal Secretariat or anywhere around there are now scared of going out one way or the other. The impact of this on people who live within the Federal Capital, or even those who are planning to travel to the Federal Capital, how do you see this? Let me start with you, Cyril.
You know, the first thing I wanted to say was when he took one of the headlines, I said the president was ordering the IG to put a stop to Shiite excesses.
Excesses, yeah.
I hope that the president is fully apprised of the reality on the ground. The fact is that, personally, I mourn. I mourn because a colleague, a 23-year-old young man, I know what it was like for me at his age, has died in the service of his fatherland. The nation should mourn. This is what we call in the media a strong human angle to what is going on. It is no longer a Shiite versus federal government issue. Something, if by now the national conscience is not bleeding, there is a problem. We need to recontextualize what is going on. It is no longer federal government versus Shiite. It is a bigger national security issue. And then it also deals with the issue of inclusion. Look, for whatever the Shiites want to achieve, whether they want to achieve an Islamic Republic of Nigeria is secondary. Hopefully they won't be able to do that. But the fact is that nobody is even addressing...
Nigeria remains a secular state.
Nobody is even... The government is not even addressing the fundamental issue. Are we going to release him? Are we not going to release him? Because the issue is not even about the protest. There is a push factor. There are the risk factors, okay? The longer he stays in captivity, the more likely we're going to be having this issue. So how does government want to... So when there's a lack of inclusion, some Nigerians feel more Nigerian than others. It shouldn't be so. What is government's broader policy perspective to what is going on? Because in reality, you see, like I say...
No, in fact, fatherly in this case, not even brotherly.
Exactly, exactly.
Because government is the father of all.
Of all. So we need to think in terms of inclusion and what we are going to exactly do to bring this matter to an end. Going after the Shiites with jackboots and munition will only help to escalate what we are seeing today.
All right. Now, Charles, arrests have been made from this incident here. 2 weeks ago in the National Assembly invasion, so to say, arrests were also made. Arrests have been made every time there is a clash of this kind. I wonder what we make of these arrests when it comes to intelligence gathering, that we still see the fallout. We see the obvious breakdown of law and order.
You know why the ugly part of that arrest is that, of those arrests is that when they are the security official or operators are always in a hurry to please the master, so they will go and arrest. But when they are properly profiled, you realize that the people arrested are usually not the culprits. So that's why in most cases the cases die the way they. So, but when you do a proper investigation, okay, you do investigation, you'll be able to break into this and you know exactly who the masterminds of these protests are. The mastermind may not be those guys who were there. There could be people who have been conscripted
and funding them.
And then funding them, they just go there because most of them they are not gainfully employed. So they are easy target to those people who are the be all and end all of this. There are people who are gaining from it. What they do, they need full soldiers to be able to articulate all these ideas and ideologies. So what they do is that they go around, they go recruit easy minds, people they can easily, who are easily amenable, who are pliable. They just get them from the streets, and then you find them. Most of them may not even know why they are protesting. So when they get them, you don't get any time of them.
It's so true. I'm like,
that would be very hard truth
to
take in if it is true.
I'm telling you.
So even if we have to begin to look at this from a sociological point of view of radicalization, if you arrest a radical and throw him in jail, I don't want the details whether they are going to put them in isolation or so. But if you arrest a radical and put him in a common jail or common police cell, he has the capacity to radicalize others. So you may be playing into their hands. You know, so what we need to do, if you arrest someone that is a radical, he goes into the prison cell, you misprofile him, you don't know what to look out for, so you don't even know whether he's a radical or not. But he has helped in radicalizing others. How do you even deal with that? So what we want government to do...
So you've compounded the situation.
What government is failing to do is to sit down and tell itself the home truth and say, look, what exactly is the problem we have on our hands? And how do we address it?
I am sure government knows that.
Primarily, as a domestic issue.
Yeah.
We have nobody to please in the West, in the Middle East, in Asia, or even in the Far East. This is our domestic security is our problem.
Right.
If you leave this matter and becomes a theater of proxy war for other nations, nobody benefits from it.
All right, we have to leave it here now. We heard that there was a statement from Iran on this issue. Whether it is the stand of government, we are not very sure. Or maybe it was fake
we're
news.
Playing with their hands. That's what it means.
But we heard
we're becoming puppets.
But it's all right. Let's leave it here now. Thank you very much, Cyril Abaku, for coming on the program.
My pleasure,
Thank you very much,
Charles
Ideho, for coming as well. Thank you.